Okay, so today I'm going to give you a tour of some of the newer features that are in Mystery Ball. And this is kind of the pre-alpha build. We're about 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks away from the next version that we're going to be releasing, and that'll be the first version that we release that's going to have some of the teaching aspects of the game, the interactive tutorials, the first level that kind of introduces Fred, talks about the Doodad mode. So until we get to that point, the game really requires instruction. You need somebody to kind of show you how it works, how you can play, how the controls work, what's the goal, and that's intentional. So right now we're not trying to find out, is it easy to figure out? That's not what we're trying to do right now. What we're trying to do right now is figure out if you knew how to play the game, if you knew everything about it, and you'd figured it out on your own or from instruction, is it fun? Do you enjoy it? What do you like? What do you not like? So with that in mind, let's kind of talk about some of the new features in the game. And we'll go through it. So what we have is we've got these 3 different doodads, 3 of 6. Eventually there'll be 3 more. But right now we have 3 of 6 we can play with. And these doodads are going to eventually be involved very much in puzzle gameplay. Right now they're just there for goofing around. Because this level, this demo level we have, is just a sandbox. There's no real goal in this level. There's nothing stopping the player from getting from beginning to end. It doesn't show you anything when you complete it. Again, we're too early yet to have a level that really kind of demonstrates the gameplay that the final game is going to have. So right now it's just a sandbox. It's just for goofing around, and these doodads are just to show you how they can work and what you can do. You can also pinch to zoom in and out during in doodad mode. So with that said, I will say real quickly about these doodads, the only one right now that you can interact with in doodad mode is the bubble machine. You can do that by tapping it and then dragging in the direction you'd like it to face, and that's where the bubbles are going to be coming out. That can also be done in play mode once Fred is in. So let's go into play mode. We'll bring him down. There are 4 different camera types if you hit this gear that you can change from, and I've made some tweaks to each of these based on feedback we got in the last build we sent out. So the lock camera remains the same. The follow camera and hybrid camera have both been pulled out quite a bit. They also move a little slower to get behind Fred, so you'll notice it's a little bit more, I think, smoother transitions, but you also have a much better bird's eye view of the game. I'd love to know if that's an improvement or if you think that that's a loss of some quality features. The map camera has also been changed. It moves much slower to get to its positions, and some of the positions in the map have been tweaked as well. So give that a shot and see what you think. Let's go real quick. Let's talk one last thing. The biggest part of this build, in addition to having 2 new doodads to play with, one of them being the magnet. By the way, there is a bug with the magnet. I'm going to see if I can get it to happen. You can actually get inside of the magnet's clipping bounds if you get too close to it. I see now it's not happening, but it can happen, so watch out for that bug. The other thing with the magnet you can do is you can tap it to change its polarity, which is going to make it turn from a magnet that is pulling Fred into a magnet that is pushing him. So you'll see if I try and get closer to him, its strength gets stronger. And again, if I then tap it again, it'll turn into a magnet that pulls Fred. And there we go, there's the bug I was talking about. So don't worry about that right now, that's a known issue we're working on. Spring still bounces Fred. We've played with the amount of pickup, and then the balloons pick him up, and you can then pop those balloons. Whether Fred's in a balloon currently or not, you can pop those balloons. So those are the way that the doodads work. The other things that are in this build that are worth looking at and playing with, there's a button up here at the top. It's a gear. It's a temporary button that will not be in the final game. It's in this pre-release build to show you how the upgrade process for Fred is going to work in the final game. So a little bit of background. You'll recall that there are 3 different fears that Fred is experiencing as he travels through the game. Aphophobia, the fear of being touched; acrophobia, the fear of heights; and then chronophobia, the fear of time. And as the game begins, Fred is in his neutral form. Right now he's in his aphophobia form. He's already received 1 upgrade. He's in his neutral form where he's just afraid of everything. And so as you collect these bravery badges, which are basically, they're going to be gold pickups that you find scattered throughout the level that are in fairly difficult to get to places, that are going to kind of encourage the player to go and explore different parts of each level. Anyway, as you collect them, these meters, which are currently all the way to the right, will start slowly, going to the left, and the first fear will happen, then the second, the third, as the game progresses. Once the fear has gotten all the way into the green on the left side of the meter, it becomes unlocked, and when that happens, Fred is going to, as soon as you get that bravery badge that unlocks that fear for Fred, he's going to experience this cinematic transition that I've been working on. So he's going to fly up into the air. There's going to be some really cool transition music. There's going to be some smoke, some special effects, and then bam, Fred transforms from his old fear, his own self, evolves into a new Fred that has now shed the fears that he used to be afraid of and is now a totally new Fred. So you'll know now we have a different Fred. We have a new ability available to us, the acrophobia ability. We also have access to the abilities that we had in the previous evolution of Fred. So that's kind of a neat thing to do. And the way the game works, when you restart the game, there's a random chance that you will start with a different Fred. So sometimes you'll start with the Chronophobia Fred, sometimes you'll start with the basic Fred with no abilities. So try that a few times. Remember, to upgrade, you just press this button. It only works once per session to demonstrate how it's going to work. So if you want to try it again, restart the game, close it, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Let me show you real quickly these abilities that Fred has. So again, the first one is Aphophobia. The way that works is Fred gets picked up, you'll notice, by his handle, and then you can throw him. And that's how that works. So then he can be tossed around. So if he's about to fall, you'll notice it's on cooldown right now for about 10 seconds after it's been used, as it then becomes available, and then the red button will appear when it's available. So if you're about to fall, you can push the button, it'll pick him up, and then you swipe to drag him and throw him, and he gets tossed. So that's the Aphophobia ability that gets unlocked when Fred has conquered that fear. The second fear that we just now recently conquered is Acrophobia, the fear of heights. And what we can do there is we can activate that ability. It basically creates some helicopter blades over Fred for 4 seconds that he can use, and then again it goes on cooldown. And this is a really neat ability. So if what we wanted to do, if we wanted to get up here, we could, and there Fred's trying to talk to us, we're going to go ahead and ignore that. We could fly over in this area and kind of get ahead a little bit. And that's kind of a neat thing. Another thing too, again with this jump, if we were about to fall, you could pick him up and then toss him the rest of the way. So there's some neat things that those abilities are going to offer for us. The last ability, Chronophobia, I can't access it now because I didn't get lucky. Let's see if we can. To exit the game, again, hit your home button, then double click your home, tap and hold on the game, close it, and then launch it again. That's how you restart the game. And again, until we get the final build together where you can actually select levels and restart levels and things like that, that's the best way to do it. So let's get back into play mode and let's see which Fred we have. Unfortunately, we got the exact same one. Ah, there we go. So I just did a transition into a new video clip because it literally took me 8 tries. Worst luck ever in terms of randomness to get the Acrophobia Fred to come in. So again, you'll notice he already has unlocked Acrophobia and Aphophobia. They just came off cooldown, so those will still work just as before. But now we have this Chronophobia. After I upgrade him, he's going to get a new ability. So let's go ahead and upgrade Fred. Again, we get this really cool transition. When we add sound and music to this, is going to be really cool. But again, it's just basically demonstrating Fred overcoming his fears and shedding them and transforming into something cooler and that has new abilities and things like that. So he's got this new ability called Chronophobia. He also has this really cool, I think his final form is Chronophobia form. He's got a clock on the side of him and these gold edges. So the way that Chronophobia works is when you click it, you're going to basically freeze time. So now we enter black and white mode, and Fred is the only object in the game in color. And during this mode, of course you can't see this right now because we don't have any enemies or obstacles that move yet in the game. That's coming in the next build. Everything else is going to move at an extremely reduced rate. So they'll be moving very, very slowly, and Fred moves it at the normal rate. It lasts for about 15 seconds, and then it becomes on cooldown again. So that's how that ability works. Fred also has different colored copter blades, of course, for his helicopter, so on and so forth. So that's pretty much everything that we have in this build. What I would really appreciate some feedback on would be, what do you think of each of these abilities? Are they easy to use? Do you like how the camera is behaving in each of them? Do they seem fun? Would you like the helicopter blades to last longer than they do? Would you like him to fly up faster? Would you like it so that when you flick Fred, he goes further? You know, what do you think? Does it feel balanced? Does it feel unfair? Those are the kinds of things I'd really love to hear. As always, I appreciate any feedback on the camera mode. Does the camera feel too difficult to navigate the world? You know, just what do you think in general about that? Any feedback you have on the magnet or the bubble machine or the spring would be great as well. And there'll be some more doodads coming soon. The next time you see the game, my expectation is that you'll have some enemies in the game, which is really going to make it fun, and the level editor will be complete. This will be a week or two. And at that point then we'll have some actual levels with some puzzle gameplay, some enemies to prevent you from getting to your goal, and you should really be able to feel how things look.